This is the Tune Creators Artist Spotlight.
Baby.
What's one album that you really, really like and you think every new artist needs to listen to?
I think the one that comes to mind is "Bad" by Michael Jackson.
Huh.
I think a lot of people say "Thriller," you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think "Thriller" is a great album, but I think "Bad" gets a little deeper, and I think there's a lot more like of different emotions. Like it's a little more versatile, in my opinion. I
Hmm.
feel like he kind of went through a couple things before that album, and "Thriller" like he was at his peak, you know what I mean? So I would say "Bad." I think there's a lot of iconic stuff going on in there, and I think like any artist can resonate with it. And "Man in the Mirror" is on there, and that's like probably one of the most impactful songs ever made. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. In fact, I've got a friend who actually studies Michael Jackson, MJ, and I've been studying him a lot too as well because of he was a genius, man. Like what he did, especially that Thriller time. Like he used to tell stories with his music. It's crazy what that guy did, you know. So, do you listen to him often? Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's the reason why like I started music like a long time ago. So yeah.
That is so cool. So cool. Great album choice, by the way.
Yeah.
Wicked. All right, then let's talk some more about you now. Where are you originally from?
So I'm originally from Orange County, California. It's pretty close to Los Angeles. If you don't know where that's at, it's pretty much like commuting distance from Los Angeles. It's more of like a suburban kind of feel, I guess you would say. Um, but just close enough to the city if you want to get there. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So yeah, Orange County is where I say I grew up. Close to like Huntington Beach area. Definitely close to the beach. So yeah, I love it over here, man.
Yeah.
It's SoCal.
That's where you want to be, but I want to be next to the beach right now. So I've heard of Orange County, but obviously Los Angeles is the most popular one. But yeah, I think I've heard
Yeah.
from one of the movies. Huh. And how did you get into music?
So I got into music. Speaking of Michael Jackson, when I was like a little boy, I remember my dad actually had like a couple VHS tapes at that time. I was still alive when the VHS tapes happened, but he showed me a couple of them, like his live performances and stuff. And I remember like just falling in love with like the whole thing. Like when I was a kid, I would just try to dance around the house like Michael. I would just like try to mimic him, the facial expressions and the, at that time. So Michael definitely got me into music, and definitely my dad too. My dad's a musician, so yeah.
Because that was gonna be the next question I was gonna ask if you've got music in your family. What does your dad? What did he do? Your dad?
So my dad's a drummer, and
Oh.
he was kind of like in the '80s rock, glam rock kind of scene, like the Motley Crue, Poison, that kind of thing, Scorpions, and yeah, he's the one. He was always a drummer, and I actually became a drummer like
Hmm.
throughout middle school, high school, my early childhood and stuff. So I was always into that kind of music for a while, but yeah, he was always the drummer in the back, showing off and shit. He had like all these tricks and fog machines and all that kind of stuff.
That's so cool, man. So how did you transition from drumming to singing now?
Um, so I would say the transition was when I joined choir in high
Hmm.
school. I joined freshman year, or maybe a little before that, like eighth grade summer. I went to the summer camp that was like singing, dancing, acting in Orange County. It's called the Orange County Song and Dance. Shout out though, shout out them. But yeah, I got into choir, and I remember just like I was like this small kid too. I was like the one who didn't hit the growth spurt. I didn't hit puberty yet. I was like the small kid that like everyone's like, oh, like you know what I'm saying? So I got in the choir, and I remember auditioning for some of the solos because I was like, I'm just gonna try it. And I remember like girls were like going crazy and shit. And I was like, oh, I kind of like this. So yeah, that's where it all started.
That's so
Yeah.
cool, man. Yeah, that's so cool. I mean, good thing you went into it because of you. I don't like to say like hype a lot of artists too much, but you're definitely onto something there because your song. I've been listening. I listened to the 5 track EP, which we're gonna talk more about. But and you've got like a signature sound going on there, which is really really cool. Really impressive stuff. Yeah,
And
interesting.
I love to hear that. I love to hear that.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. And your stage name, you're going by your real name for your stage name, yeah?
Yep, Ryan
Uh,
Ramirez. No middle name. I was not I wasn't blessed with a middle name when I was born. No middle name, so
Yeah.
um, yeah, just Ryan Ramirez. I feel like it flows, and the two R's is cool, so just roll with it.
Yeah. Interesting. A lot of musicians like to come up with like an alias or something like that, you know. Why
Mhm.
didn't you go that route? Why did you decide to go with the Ryan?
Um, I think it goes back to the choir days. Like
Mm.
I remember just like in choir, people would always just be like, they would call me about like my first and last name. They would be like, "Oh, Ryan Ramirez, Ryan Ramirez," like, and I was like, "Oh, like it's kind of sticking with people." Like I remember, it still happens too. Like, "Oh, you're Ryan Ramirez, Ryan Ramirez." Like when I even with my friends call me that Ryan Ramirez. It's like I don't know. I feel like it stuck with people, so I was like, if it flows out of people's mouths like that, then it's probably a good sign. So
Yeah. Yeah. That helps. That really helps. And do you do music full time, or is this something you do on the side?
no, not full time yet.
Okay.
I would love to get there. But it's definitely a grind. It's definitely a long term thing to kind of build the foundation for. You know what I mean? So, but we're on our way. We're getting there.
Definitely. I can totally definitely see you definitely building some kind of a fan base around this. Really good
Hmm.
music. Definitely you guys should go check it out. Like trust me, it's really, really good. Especially if you're into R&B, which is kind of like leads to my next question, which is how would you describe the kind of music you make?
Um, See, I think R&B is different
Yeah.
nowadays. You don't get the. I think like before R&B was very soul, very like church, like it was kind of tied in with the church kind of gospel, like you know what I mean. And I think
Yeah.
there's elements of that still today, but I think it's a little more um, structured, a little more radio, a little more.
Hmm.
There's a little more pop elements to it,
Yeah.
um, and I just feel like R&B, hip hop, and pop are like all fused together
The same thing.
nowadays.
Yeah.
It's like there's not
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
any difference. So yeah.
Yeah. I see. That is true. That is true. I mean, R&B has come from, like you said, the soul days. I don't know if you listen to Motown and the
Hmm.
back in the day stuff. Yeah, it's now something else now. But I like the direction you're going because you remind me of Trey Songz. I'm a huge fan of Trey Songz. Like he does. Even Chris Brown has gone left now, in my in my
Oh,
opinion. But
Chris Brown's my number one. Yeah,
oh,
I'll be like a super fan. Yeah.
oh, okay, okay. Which is kind of like I was gonna ask you, like where you get your inspiration from. I mean, you've talked about MJ, big artist. Talked about
Yeah.
Chris Brown. What other artists inspire you?
So MJ, Chris Brown. I'm a big Eric Bellinger fan.
Hmm,
Um, I love Jacob Lattimore's dope from Atlanta.
hmm,
Justin Bieber and who else? Trey Songz,
hmm,
Jacquees. Like you know what I'm saying. Like, but I
hmm.
would say that the top two though are definitely like Chris Brown, Michael Jackson,
Yeah,
Justin Bieber probably. So
yeah, really cool. Do you dance? Yeah, in is
I do.
that part of
Yeah.
you? Oh, okay, okay. So are you? Have you got like a music video out, or is this not yet?
Yeah, so you can check out my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I have videos
Okay.
out. I probably
Yeah.
have like six or
Oh.
seven music
Oh
videos
wow.
out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely gonna check that. I want to see you dance. I want to see. I want somebody to kind of like bring back the whole performance thing. You know, performing arts.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
it used to be
for
called. But
sure.
yeah, yeah, that's so cool. Really, really cool. And one of the biggest challenges of artists is finding people to collaborate with, new artists in particular. I
Mhm.
mean, you've got this album which sounds very, very polished. I'm guessing you use like what really good producers in this, and you got a couple of features in there. Is that something you struggle with? And if not, if so, how do you go about looking for people?
You know what? I feel like it's for some reason like it hasn't really been a struggle. I feel like
Hmm.
I kind of just stumble across the right people, or
Hmm.
like the right people reach out to me. Like I don't know, like I don't know what it is, but I think it has to do with I've just always put out music, and I think maybe I've attracted like certain people who I would vibe with, like chemistry wise. Like because the producers I work with, I kind of met them pretty organically. Like my homie AJ, who produced like a lot of my catalog, he just reached out to me. And he's from Kansas, and we just kind of vibed right away. My
Hmm.
homie Khalil, my homie Jacob Martinez goes by High Def Beats. I feel like that people recognize good music, and I don't know. I think that's never really been an issue for me. I would say the collaboration thing with artists definitely has been slim
Hmm.
because I feel like it was hard for me to kind of just stumble across someone who uh like I vibed with, I guess. I don't know, but I think it's starting to pick up though. Like I'm meeting
Okay.
more people and stuff, so yeah.
Okay. Like you, because you want that chemistry between the people you work with, to produce stuff. Like, so yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely want to make sure that they're serious about like
Ah.
their music because I think I meet a lot of people who are semi-serious or just kind of like doing it to see what happens, but like I want
Yeah.
people who are like, yo, if this
Honest.
is going
Yeah.
on my thing and something happens later on, I want to make sure I can call you up and like be like, yo, let's get on stage for our song. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Yeah. Makes sense. It makes sense. There's a lot of, unfortunately, on professionalism. That's a word in
yeah,
this industry, like at this level anyway, because of a lot of people are kind of doing it as a hobby. But it's good to see people that are actually on it and on it professionally. So I really
sure.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
And how do you find time to make music though? If you, what do you have, like a gig on the side, like a work on the side, and then do
So
music?
I was doing Uber. That
Ah,
was like my full time thing. Because I
okay,
found that I was working at Target before that.
okay,
Um, yeah, and so I realized like I want a little more control of my schedule, especially with what I'm trying to do. Like I feel like it definitely takes the majority of your time. So I kind of found that Uber worked for me.
okay.
Um, but I mean, right now I haven't been able to because of the whole COVID
I
situation. But
think, yeah, yeah.
yeah, as
I
far
like
as that,
that. I love that. I love that because I was having this conversation with somebody earlier today. Actually, like a lot of people do have a full time job and then do music on the side, but I think the reverse should be what you should do. You should do music full time and then have this other side thing that pays the bills or pays for music production.
yeah,
Kind
I
of
mean,
like, yeah,
if you can, because I feel like
okay.
I'm younger, so I have the luxury of being able to stay at home still and kind of like build what I
Ah,
want to build. If I
yeah,
was like a dad and like had a family and work full time, I would see like you. I mean, you got to work it out, but I'm kind of using this time to really build with what I want to build. So
it's a smart move, really smart move. All right, then let's talk about Double R. That's the name of the. What is this? Is it an EP album? How would you
so
describe it?
it's a mixtape,
Ah,
but I separated it into two parts. So part one's out now.
okay.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
So like I said, I'm inspired by Chris Brown. Oh, why did I separate it?
Yeah, why did you separate it? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I separated it because I think that nowadays people, I think we're losing the album thing nowadays. And I think when people see a full album, unless they're like a fan of you, then they're not really going to sit and stream the whole thing or listen to the whole thing.
Hmm.
And I think it's better when you're first coming up to kind of like put out a little bit at a time so
Hmm.
that way people actually give it a chance to listen to it. Because if I
Yeah.
put out like a 15-song album, I mean, I'm not sure that people are gonna listen to the full thing. I'd rather separate it out and like have them consume it separately. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So yeah,
It makes sense, especially these days where everybody, like you said, everybody's all about the single and playlisting. They pick the best songs and put it in the song we like and put it in our playlist. So I think that's because you're actually right. Because I actually listened to the 5 songs straight
mhm,
when I checked out that stuff. It's interesting strategy, very very
yeah,
very very smart. So when are you gonna release the next one, or is it in the pipeline, or what's the situation with
yeah.
the next one? Yeah.
So the next one, I pretty much have the songs done.
Ah,
So I'm pretty much we're shooting a video actually to the song
ah,
No Help off Double R, in case
okay.
some people didn't know. And so we're gonna get that out. I'm gonna make sure we push that for a minute, and I'm probably gonna release part two late August, early
Hmm.
September, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the
Interesting.
plan.
Interesting. And what is this? What's the project about? Double R. Why did you name it that? And what's the theme
Yeah.
behind it? Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm a fan of Chris Brown, and he
Yeah.
kind of has his thing, Breezy, right, or Sea Breezy. And I felt like I don't know. I always wanted like a cool little name to go by, like as far as my music, like an alias, I guess you would say, right? And so my homie AJ, who produced a couple of the songs on the project, was like, "Man, you should go by Double R." And I was like, "That sounds kind of tight. I'm with that." So then I roll with it. I started using it in songs, and I was like, I'm gonna name the mixtape Double R because I think this body of work is definitely the work that I think is um, the right sound that I want to go for going forward, and it's really gonna start that whole thing because I feel like the past songs I put out they were kind of all over the place with
Mm,
the vibes, like it was like straight pop or like you know what I mean. It was kind of all over the place, and I'm really confident that this style of music is like what I want to be, and I
dude,
like what you said
yeah.
earlier, like the signature kind of thing. That's kind of
Mm,
where I want to go with it. So I was like, I'm gonna put my alias in it, Double R, and I'm gonna go forward and be like, yo, this is where we're going with this. So
really cool. I like that. And what inspired it though? Like obviously, like you said, the songs you've made previously. I'm guessing that was the finding your sound stage. Yeah. Why did you decide to create? How did you find your sound, and why did you decide to create this album? Oh, EP. Yeah.
um, man, I can't explain it. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
honestly, it's I've never been the kind that just makes songs for something. I've always just
Mm,
made songs. So like I've always just had like a catalog of songs with my producers and just like we just kind of had fun and experimented and kind of stuff. And
okay.
I realized like I listened to my catalog and I was like, oh, like these 5, 10 songs are like they kind of have a theme going on and this is honestly what I want to put out as an artist. Like this is like the sound I love and I want people to know me for. So I
Mm,
was like, you know what, let's group these together and let's go forward from here and just kind of like take it from there, you know what I mean?
makes sense. Makes really good. Yeah, it's a very. I like that. I like it. The songs are very. They put you in such a vibe, man. Like that beachy. I'm guessing that's where your Orange County background comes in. It kind of
Yeah.
takes you to the beach and just chill out vibe. Really cool.
You have
And
a
what's
different favorite one off of there? Not to I'm gonna
uh,
ask you a question now.
okay? Go on. Go. What did you say?
I was gonna say, did you have a favorite one off of there? One that
Oh
like stuck out to
yeah, yeah. Speed up. Is that the one? Is
you?
it?
Okay.
Is it? Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I really did. I like it. It's because I'm listening to your how you deliver your the lyrics and everything, and your technique is very good. You know, even when you go into the two step the thing, it's like it's
Mm,
really good. You've definitely done your homework with that, man. Really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. Yeah.
I appreciate it,
Oh,
man. Thank you.
yeah. What's your songwriting process like though? How do you go from idea to a finished track?
Yeah. I think there's one way I really like to do it. A lot of people have different ways, but like
Mm,
for me, like I gotta have the beat. Like I just have to have the beat to have that inspiration of like what I
mm,
want to talk about.
yeah.
I keep like a notes file in my phone of like
Mm,
concepts, like song titles and concepts, and
yeah.
I'll usually just pick a beat and I'll be like, all right, cool, which concept flows with this? Like, what am I feeling? And I just go from there. And I write melodies first. I'm not really. It's funny because I struggle with lyrics like more than
Hmm. Tell me
melodies.
up.
So melodies come
Yeah.
very easy to me
Ah,
nowadays. So I'll kind of just get the melody going, and the words will kind of write themselves in a way, like kind of fit it like a puzzle. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my process with it. Yeah.
interesting. My next question was gonna be, what do you find most challenging? Which you've talked
Oh,
about the lyrics writing, because that's my challenge as well. I could come up with melodies, but lyrics, I hate my lyrics. How do you get past that though? Because the lyrics of this song is quite good. Do you work with somebody to help you improve that, or do you do like me and spend a year on on one track trying to refine the lyrics?
no, I mean, I definitely do it all myself, but
Ah,
I mean, I'm not gonna give I'm not gonna not give credit to people like the
people,
people
yeah,
I've studied or like
yeah.
people I've been in sessions with or like
Yeah.
producers I've worked with. Like I've definitely had tips and tricks from different people. Um, but when I make a song, like I definitely, for the most part, make it myself. And that's honestly the message of the project too, double R. So like if you listen to No Help, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like
Mm,
I've been making catchy music and like I've been making bangers like with no help kind of thing.
mm,
'Cause I feel like a lot of these bigger artists, not the shade, but because I know how it is. I'm sure I'll be there too. But there's like a lot of writers on the song. There's like 8 to 10 writers a lot of the time.
yeah.
But I wanted to show people like, yo, you can learn how to
Do
do
it by
this.
yourself.
Like really,
Mm,
you know, take it yourself if
yeah.
you want.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes good sense. And what would you say has been the best part of making this EP or
Uh,
mixtape? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the best part is definitely um, making the set list, making the track list, because I feel like as like a rock art, I was like a rock drummer before, right? And that was
Oh,
always my favorite part of like a show was like creating the set list
yeah.
because I was always like, okay, how can we create like a journey of people? Like, what's like the best intro song that's gonna catch people, and that's like oh shit, and then how do we make that a journey, and then finish it off with a certain way? So I feel like organizing the track list was my favorite part because I feel like
Mm.
the way that willing comes in is very like oh shit, like what's gonna happen. It's just like in my opinion it like kind of catches people, so that was my favorite part for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it's good that you put thought into that because kind of like alluding to what you talked about, where people are kind of losing the whole album thing. Like, if you know this, like back in the days, albums used to take you through this
Yeah,
story from start to scratch. So I'm guessing that's kind of like what you're trying to recreate there. That would be so cool because of not many people are doing that now. So that's a great way to differentiate yourself from everybody right
yeah.
there. You know?
And
Yeah.
another artist I really love too is like The Dream. um yeah, yeah. And so like his like first couple albums, he was like the king of that. Like his whole album just flowed together, and
Yeah.
like the instrumentals like matched up with the
Yeah.
next song. It's kind of
Um,
crazy, so I was always
yeah.
like a fan of that too.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think of the current state of yeah, R&B now?
R&B.
Yeah,
um Honestly, dude, like I think it's like great music, but I just
okay.
feel like it's kind of slept on because I feel like right now the main thing is like the party,
Mm,
you know, TikTok dance like kind of thing, right? Which is cool too. I like that too, but I think the R&B is very. It's either slept on or people just don't talk about it. Like I think
mm.
everyone kind of listens to it low key, but it's not like something that you're gonna put on.
Yeah,
It's not gonna do justice at a party, or you know what I mean. So
yeah,
or at
yeah.
the
I know what
club.
you mean.
So,
I know what you mean. You're right. People just listen to it, but it's not stuff that you play in the clubs or.
yeah.
But that is very. There's an opportunity there, I guess. Yeah, go
But
on,
that's
sorry.
why
Mm,
like I really love Chris Brown too, because I
mm,
think he's really good at like fusing those two things. Like he can make a club record that's
true,
R&B. He can make the vulnerable R&B, or like the soft R&B, or the
true,
sexy R&B. He does it all, and so that's like what I aspire to do too. So
true. And when did you release this EP?
I
I
released it.
keep calling it an EP. Mixtape, yeah.
What day was it? June 19th. So
June
almost a month,
19th. Okay. Oh, so
or
it's
it's been a
brand
month.
new. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because of my next question was going to be all about the marketing and reception side of things, which you talked about TikTok dance. Are you going to do a TikTok dance for this, or have you done a TikTok dance already?
There were a couple songs where I tried like a little TikTok thing, like my
Yeah.
record side piece, freeze frame.
Okay.
I think it was those two. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely something we're open to. Um, I never I never saw myself being like a TikTok guy, so it's definitely been kind of like a weird struggle for me, like to do that. I've definitely made videos and stuff, but
Yeah.
that's not really like my lane.
My thing. Yeah.
But I'm just doing what I can with it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you say is your lane, though? I'm curious about that. Like, especially a lot of artists feel that's what they need to do now. So how have you been promoting this mixtape?
Man, it's just been a lot of it's just been like organic,
Huh.
out of like Facebook ads, or just like pretty much just like any kind of marketing that's just like straight up, yo, here's the music, here's the artist. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I think the main thing that me and my manager and my team talk about a lot is like we can either try to blow up um, with like a song and just like really make it like a meme, trendy kind of thing, or we could just go out and like try to find the true fans and be like, yo, who really messes with the music, because at the end of the day, like those are the people that I want throughout the career too. Like I want the fan base of people who just rock with me as an artist and rock with me like with my music, instead of just like, oh, like I really like that TikTok dance of that song, and then it's just like I forgot about the artist after that. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure like my song isn't bigger than me as an artist. You know what I mean? Like I want to go hand in hand with
Uh,
it. So
that is such a good point. That is such a good point because that can and does happen a lot these days, where you just you love the track, but you don't care so much about the artist, you know. So
And,
and
and I think
that,
and I think some people are content with that too. I mean, it depends on what you want, right?
mm,
So,
true, true. A lot of people are very happy because you could literally your life could change with one song blowing up,
yeah,
you know. So
yeah,
yeah, it's a very
yeah. Because
interesting
like,
set.
because
Yeah.
sorry, not to cut you off.
No, go on. Yeah.
Because like one thing I definitely value is like longevity. Because all the
Mm,
artists that I like, they're all like timeless
mm,
longevity artists, and I feel like the way to do that is to really make true, authentic music like with yourself, and to go out and find those fans and kind of like work with that. Instead of just like trying to get like a viral song and then hoping that you're gonna stay on top and stuff. Because I feel like that's like your one shot to really show, like to follow it up and like to show people like what you're really about. And if you can't really do that, then it's like I don't know how you would kind of get back up from that. You know what I mean? So
it makes sense. It makes sense. When you say we, I mean, you've talked about. Have you got like a team behind you? You've talked about your manager. Have you got like a team working behind you?
yeah. So I have a
Yeah.
team. I'll shout them out
Yeah.
real quick.
Yeah.
My homie Jacob Moore, who's been my best friend since kindergarten. He's my
Okay.
manager. Um, and we have Joseph Films, the videographer. We have my homie Spencer, who I met at Target when I was working there. He does all my graphic designs, like for the artworks and stuff. And
Mm,
then we got my homie Sticks, who's a choreographer, creative director, who kind of helps me with
mm.
my image and my visuals and my
Wow.
choreography and stuff like that. And then we have the producers like AJ on the beat, Khalillionaire, High Def Beats, and then we got I think that's it actually. Yeah, that's it right now.
That's so cool, man. That's like huh. That's so cool. You've pretty much got that lockdown, like a team behind you. It makes life easier, doesn't it? Like having all these guys working
Oh yeah,
towards. Yeah, yeah. That's so cool. Huh. Something to learn from that. Man, Ryan, we've come to the end of an awesome, awesome chat, man. This has been really amazing. I'm a huge fan of your music. I'm actually adding it to my playlist, you know. I'm gonna listen to it after this actually. So that is really cool. At this stage, I like to ask from there's a lot you could teach new artists. So if there's one thing you could share with brand new artists just starting off on their R&B journey, what would that be?
make sure you love it. Make
Hmm.
sure that you make sure that you really love it and you truly desire to be an artist, because
Hmm.
this this game is it's crazy. It's crazy. It's an emotional journey. There have been nights where I've just like literally been like I'm not afraid to say it, like I've cried myself to sleep a couple times and like felt like giving up and all this kind of stuff. It's definitely like not for the weak, I guess you would say. Like it's just they don't see and they don't talk about it, right? They don't talk about it that way. It's always like do what you love and it's artistic and express yourself and stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, like this is a business and it's more than just the art. And you got to be able to get up every day, grind your ass off, and just you got to want it. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Are you a fan of Gary Vee? Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
He says enjoy the process. Yeah, that
Yeah,
as long as you enjoy the process, like
yeah, for
so
sure.
true, so
Hmm.
true. I love that. I love that you say this is a business. Make sure you love it because you're right. There's a lot of shit that goes wrong in this. I mean, the rate of failure in this industry is insane. It's insane that people still want to do it, but you know, it's what it is. Like, but yeah, enjoy the process. I really love that. Ryan, we've come to the end of an awesome interview. I've truly, truly enjoyed this. I've been, you are one of my favorite artists on this, and I've been introduced to so many artists on this podcast. It's crazy, and you're definitely going on my playlist. If our listeners want to check out your music and learn more about you and what you're up to, what's the best way for them to do that?
Um, so I like to usually just shout out my Spotify. People
Okay.
have Spotify. It's just Ryan Ramirez or Apple Music or whatever you use. Is my music's on there.
Yeah.
My Instagram definitely, which is at Ryan Ramirez official.
Mm-hmm.
I have Twitter at Rai. It's at Rai Ramirez. Rai is my like my mom's nickname for me or whatever. And what else we got? What else we got? YouTube definitely. Ryan Ramirez on YouTube should be the first one that comes up. SoundCloud, Ryan Ramirez, same thing. So yeah, definitely just follow me on everything. I got like one thing I do too is like I make things exclusive on different platforms. So I have songs on SoundCloud that are not on the other platforms that you can only get if you're following me on SoundCloud. So definitely follow up on all the platforms and stay tuned, you know.
What? Baby.